What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. On my channel, Whitetail Session Outdoors, I'm starting a brand new playlist. It's called Should You, and it's going to be should you plant this or should you plant that, and it's going to be probably 6 or 7 videos, and I'm going to name off the most top species of plants that people want to plant in a general rule of thumb if it's appropriate for your property. So keep an eye out for this playlist. All the videos will be linked together. Make sure you watch each one as they come out, and it's going to be called Should You Plant. Number 1 on this video is going to be soybeans, and I'm using soybeans as the first one because it's probably one of the number 1 things that people want to plant. So should you plant soybeans on your property? Okay, I'm going to name some pros and cons to this, and you can make the decision for yourself, because you hunt your property, you know what's there, you know what's around. So here it goes. Should you plant soybeans? Well, let's see. Soybeans is probably the ice cream crop to deer for the spring and summertime. If you plant soybeans, deer will hammer them, okay? So keep that in mind. It's hard for soybeans to get established because they're so palatable in the early stage, and usually as soon as they emerge out of the ground, deer will bite them and they will die because they have to get to a certain height, usually past the second leaf, and then the deer can't really kill that plant. They can take bites of it and it'll continue to grow. But if it emerges out of the ground and they bite it right away, it's dead. So it's hard for soybeans to get established, and it's hard for hunters to be able to have enough acreage to be able to plant to keep up with the browse pressure. So that's usually probably the number 1 fail, is that with soybeans you don't have the appropriate amount of acreage for you to plant in order for them to get established. If you are in a big woods setting and you plant soybeans, usually you're going to draw in a lot of deer, and they're going to wipe out that soybean food plot before it ever gets established, and then you're left with bare dirt. So a trick to that is, let's say you're planting maybe 3 acres or 2 acres of soybeans, and you fence that off with a dual perimeter electric fence. I've done that. I've kept that fence on there for roughly 40 days, 45 days, took the fence down and let the deer have at it, and they couldn't keep up with it. And that was in a big wood setting. So that could be something that you're trying to do. But the whole point of this video is, should you do that? Well, let's see. It's hard to get established, and if you can't plant, I'd say a minimum of 6 to 10 acres of soybeans, you probably shouldn't plant them, because I feel, in my opinion, it's better to plant those soybeans and have those pods late in the season. So if the deer are eating them down to the ground before it even gets to the harsh conditions of winter to where the deer have the pods, there's really no point, because in the winter time is when we lack deer food. Okay, so we need to focus on fall food. That also plays into habitat, having woody browse and stuff on your property, but we're talking about food plots. So if you can't plant a minimum 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 acres of food plot of soybeans, you probably shouldn't plant them. Yes, they're very nutritious to the deer. It can help build a deer herd and grow bigger bodies and antlers. They're high in nutrition, but they're hard to get established. Okay, so if you are in an ag setting, right, where they're already planting soybeans, then you probably shouldn't plant soybeans, right, because there's already hundreds of acres of ag of soybeans for them to consume. So in those big wood settings, if you have huge destination fields where you can plant, like I said, 10, 15 acres of soybeans, then by all means plant soybeans. They're going to be very nutritious to the wildlife. But if we have the guys that are planting half acre, 1 acre, and they're all about soybeans, most times it's going to fail. Okay, it's going to fail because they're going to consume it before it even can establish. They're going to kill it because they're going to eat it right away. And there's a lot of variables in this. Obviously, nothing's absolute, but should you do that? Probably not, because there's a lot of other things you could grow that's going to provide adequate tonnage, and they can't wipe it out. And we'll continue on this series of should you. So should you plant soybeans? In my opinion, if you're in big wood settings, and unless you have 10 acres of soybeans, you probably shouldn't plant them. They're going to wipe them out and you're going to fail. Next up on should you plant, give that video a watch right there. It's going to be part 2 of should you plant. Also subscribe to the channel if you guys are new.